All right, what's going on? So it is August 30th. August 30th. I was going to say September, but it's not September yet. August the 30th, we got one more day of August before September begins. I did a video last year and we talked about the September 6th challenge. We're going to be doing the September 6th challenge again this year. And what is the September 6th challenge? Well, 2 years ago in September, I came up with 6 habits that I was going to adopt and make part of my identity. And let me see if I can pull up the list of what those 6 things were. I should have been a little bit better prepared, but I'll filibuster while I look for that information. Um, we were, well, let's talk about the original. So, the original September 6th for me was going to bed earlier, making sales calls, writing Bible studies, um, going to the gym, eating right. I think I missed one. So going to bed earlier, getting up earlier, making sales calls, writing Bible studies, going to the gym, and eating right. Those were the first original September 6th for me. Those were 6 things that I began to do um, a couple of years ago that became part of my habits, that became part of my identity, became part of who I was as a person. And the result of that was tremendous. The result of those habits, those changes that I made in my life at that time was dramatic. The original video, I talked about how it had impacted my business, but there was other things that it had impacted as well. But going to bed earlier, waking up earlier, making sales calls, those things resulted in a 10x growth in my business over that period of time. And it was just phenomenal to see that. And then writing Bible studies had created a spiritual growth in my life that was just second to none. The spiritual growth that I'd experienced through that time period and the subsequent time period was just, words can't express how vital and how critical that was for developing me into the person that I am sitting before you here today. So I am still going to bed early. I am still getting up early. I'm still making sales calls. I'm still writing Bible studies. I still go to the gym and I still eat right. So those 6 habits stuck. And this last year, I decided on what were going to be the 6 things that I was going to adopt for this last year, which was largely 2023. No, 2024, mostly 2024. So the September 6th for 2023 basically set up the end of 2023 and then the most part of 2024. The 6 things, the 6 habits, the September 6th that I set for this last year was to plan tomorrow today, to pay myself first, to give more, to delegate, to post every day, and to get organized. And I'll work from the bottom of that list and just kind of share about how some of those things had impacted my life. Getting organized, I got organized in a lot of different areas. I feel like there's still some growth that can be achieved in that segment, but I look a lot different than I did when I had originally set out to start these 6 things. And by the way, this is the actual post-it note that I wrote last September, and it has been stuck to my monitor, my computer. So every day when I go to work, I'm looking at those 6 things. They're constantly in front of me. So I'm constantly knowing and having those things in mind, being mindful about those things. So getting organized was one thing. I definitely got a lot more organized in a lot of areas of my life, especially as it relates to my business. there's probably a little bit more organization that I'm working through, but these are not just a 1 year thing. These are habits that we are establishing that we're going to carry with us for the foreseeable future. You might in a couple of years decide that you don't need to be as organized anymore. I don't know that really makes sense. I don't think that we're ever going to say that we're too organized, but that is a habit for me now, is that I'm constantly thinking about how can I get more organized? How can I get more, how can I put things into systems? How can I arrange my calendar in such a way that it promotes more productivity? How can I arrange documents in my business that are going to make them easy to access for me and for my team? And how can I, create places where we're putting information that we can draw on later on, that kind of stuff. So getting organized has been helpful for me. Posting every day. Now, I would give myself, if I had to put it on a scale of rating, I probably did like 3.5 out of 5 on this one. I did a lot of posting. It wasn't every single day, but I did a lot of posting. I mean, I started this YouTube channel, for example, August 16th of 2023. So just over a year ago. And I've posted about 150 videos just on here. And, we've probably posted easily, 100 or 150 pieces of content onto my various business social media pages and stuff. So definitely did not quite get there. But what I will say is this: it took me a year, but now I have my assistant, who helps me out, and he is actually posting all of the content for me now. And he does basically have a post that is scheduled to go out every day. So even though up until this point, which was, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, when he really started putting that onto his calendar and started to actually like get those posts going out every day of every week. It took me about a year to get to that point, but it'll lead me into what the previous one was, right? Which was delegate. I had one of my September 6th was to delegate, and you'll see when I list this year's September 6th that it's a little more nuanced now. And anyway, so I delegated to him the task of posting every day on my social media. So those two things paired up very nicely. And getting organized really helped me to be able to give him training that was a little bit more concise. And now that I'm organizing the trainings and I'm videotaping it when I'm training him so that he can train to the next person. So I'm delegating to him so that he'll be able to delegate to another person down the line. And it's just a self-perpetuating kind of cycle that we're building up here. So I did a pretty good job of delegating. And we'll talk about, maybe some of the struggles that I had with that at a later time. But I did a pretty good job, not the best job. There's still some delegating to be done. But as I'm looking at this new year and I'm looking at, okay, how did I do with that habit? I need to double down on that habit. Number 3 was to give more. And I did a great job of giving, I'll say. I probably could have gave more, but it would have been hard for me to do that. So I think I did a really good job about giving a lot. And I'll just leave that one there. Don't really want to expand on that too much, but giving more, did a great job with that, and definitely have a plan to give way more in this coming year than I gave in the last year. So giving is definitely a habit that I've been able to adopt. Now, paying myself first. This was important for me because I was really just not paying myself. I would die to the business so that I could, keep it functioning and stuff like that. And I wanted to keep everybody happy. And those are all great things to do. But I wasn't really getting the maximum amount of enjoyment out of my life. And in the beginning of last year, or not the beginning, but the beginning of this September 6th challenge, I think I went a little bit too far and I paid myself a little bit too much. And, I kind of made that mistake. So now I've gotten it balanced out, and it's paying myself first, but an equitable amount, paying myself first, but also not, just paying myself as much as I possibly can because, out of like greed or personal desire or anything like that, but just making sure that, I have my needs met and, I also have a little bit of, extra in there that I can enjoy going on trips and doing different things and that sort of stuff. So did a pretty good job paying myself first. Planning tomorrow today, did a fairly good job with that one. I do try to do that more and more. I'm not super great at it. I have a calendar that I use. I use my Google Calendar. I run my life through that. And every day is more or less planned out and through that calendar. So if I have appointments and all these different things, I'll try to get that scheduled into there. But I could do a little bit of a better job of just looking at it at the end of the day to make sure that I'm clear about what I have to do the next day. And so I'm still working on that, but it's a work in progress. These are not a 1 year only thing. Like these are things that we need to continue to develop and continue to work towards. It takes a while to build these habits up, especially when you're not spending as much time focusing on them. So this is a little bit longer video than I would like to have made it regarding this topic, but I will say this. It's September. This is going to be the third time that I'm doing this. I'm expecting that it's going to be just as, I'll use the word profitable, just as profitable as it has been the last couple of times. The first time, getting myself to where I was going to bed early, waking up early, healthy diet, and exercise and all those things. That had a big impact in my life. Writing the Bible studies, we talked about that. Making sales calls. So in the last year, we just talked about what my 6 things were for the last year, and you'll notice that making sales calls wasn't on there. But it was on the year before, and I maintained that habit and carried that habit into this next year. And through a new strategy that I was able to employ, I was able to make as many sales in 3 months' time as I did in the entire year last year through making sales calls and that stuff. So very cool stuff, very helpful. And these habits are still serving me, the ones that I had adopted a couple of years ago. I'm still going to bed early, still getting up early, and my life is better because of those things. So before I let you go, I'll share with you what my September 6 are for this year. So ruthless prioritization, being just absolutely ruthless about what I'm spending my time on, what I'm allowing my attention to go towards, and making sure that I'm making the most important things and the most urgent things first, and then working backwards from there. Not everything that is urgent is important. Not everything that's important is urgent. So those are a couple of things that I like to think through when I'm choosing what to spend my time on. So ruthless prioritization when it comes to finances, when it comes to time, when it comes to diet, when it comes to exercise, all areas of my life, I'm going to ruthlessly prioritize what are the most important things, and should they be done first or can they be done later? The fifth thing, since I'm going reverse order, the second thing will be to work out every day. I have not done a great job about maintaining my routine with the gym and everything. It's been I did pretty good for a lot of the year, but I could have done better. And I got really busy over the last month. Basically, I probably worked out, 7 or 8 times, I feel like, over the last month. So just very abysmal. So I want to try to get one every day. So by this time next year, I want to have 365 workouts logged. There's a guy that I really admire, and he's running a company in the same industry as me over in Texas. Obviously, he's significantly larger, but he logged like 5,000 workouts, 5,000 straight days of working out. So definitely inspirational, trying to aspire to that. So we'll start with the 1 year, build from there. Redeeming my time is going to be the next one. I want to make the most out of every day. I don't have the one from today on me, but I'll grab a blank one here. This is something I've been using for years. I just write down what I'm doing every 10 minutes, and that keeps me accountable for my time. So that's probably the number one way that I use to redeem my time. And that pairs very nicely with ruthless prioritization, prioritizing what I'm spending my time on, prioritizing making the most out of my time, basically. And then the next one is to delegate and develop. So I did a really good job of delegating, actually too good of a job delegating last year. And I ended up having about 22 or 23 people working for me around October, November of last year. And, it just didn't end up working out because I didn't do a great job of developing those people. I delegated out all of the work and all the tasks, but I was not doing a good job of developing them in those roles. And it caused a lot of problems in the business as a result of that. And so I basically ended up having to start completely over. So now I'm redelegating, and I'm focusing more on continual development throughout the process. So not just letting them out, setting them, showing them what to do, say, okay, hey, you got this. More like, working with them to make sure that they are comfortable doing what they're doing, make sure that they are growing and improving in those areas. So the next one is the budget. Really getting laser focused on the budget this year, personal finance as well as the business finances. Just really try to get that ironed out, smoothed out. That's a big priority for me. And then, and the last one is just a better sex life. To be honest with you, I've been married for about 1.5 years now, and it's not that we have a bad sex life or anything like that, but I don't want it to ever get to that point. So I want to, begin to start really spicing things up with my wife. Again, it's not that we don't have a good sex life now, but I don't want it to get stale, right? I don't want it to stagnate. I don't want it to be just kind of whatever or anything like a lot of marriages do. I want to continually push the envelope and keep things, keep them guessing, kind of thing, right? So again, this I think is not something that is needed right now, but I don't want to get to the point where it is needed. So I think that we're going to start pushing the gas on that. I'm going to start pouring some gas on that fire, and I'm looking forward to, I think, just a better relationship as a whole as a result of that habit. So I'm getting some calls here that I really need to address. If you will excuse me, I'm going to probably jump off here, but September 6th challenge. What are the 6 things that you need to change in your life, or that you would like to change in your life? What are the 6 things that if they change, they would impact everything else in your life? I think having a better sex life with my wife would definitely impact our relationship. And it would also, on a neurological level, give us both, more, chill, right? More joy, more peace. A budget would give us more peace, and it would give us the ability to have more security, and it will give us the ability to plan for bigger financial moves. We have some big financial moves that we're looking to make here in the near future. And a budget is going to be a critical element there. Delegating and developing, not just saying, okay, here you do it, but continuing the growth and the development along that comes with development and with the delegation. And then redeeming my time, making the most of my time, being productive, trying to be productive for every hour of every day, or for the most part. Working out every day is going to be another one. And then the ruthless prioritization. Those are the 6 habits that I want to have in my life. I want to get better about those things. I want to focus on those things. So like I showed you here just a minute or two ago, I wrote these on a sticky note and I put them on my monitor of my computer where I spend, easily half of my day. And so I'm going to be focusing on these things. I'm going to be reminded of these things every single day. And I'm going to make an effort to adopt these habits. And I encourage you guys to find what are the 6 habits that you would like to adopt. And I would also like to encourage you guys to go ahead and try to share them. Share them with somebody else so that you can have somebody else hold you accountable. Over the next month, I'm going to be hammering these things with the men's group. I'm going to be hammering these on Tuesday and Thursday, and I'm going to be really encouraging the guys to share those things so that we can hold each other accountable, so that we can all grow. So anyway, I appreciate you joining up. Hope this was an encouragement to you, and I'm really looking forward to the growth that I'm going to see in my life and your life in this next year. So I hope that you have a blessed day.